We're just two guys with one mission, and we've chosen to accept it for some reason. It's time to tell them what we mean, what we say.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
We just watched Cannibal Man.
Yeah.
From
71?
It said 72 on IMDb, but the credit at the end said 71. So who knows what to believe?
So early 70s.
It's early 70s. It's a Spanish film with a very misleading title.
Very misleading
and it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was it?
Like,
I enjoyed it.
It's kind of
it was weird.
Yeah, it's definitely like a kind of very. It's like a psychological drama.
Yeah.
With some moments of extreme violence.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
I have genuinely no idea why this might have been banned.
No.
Like, I
guess the throat slash and the...
Maybe the slaughterhouse footage.
Maybe.
It's just kind of... It's kind of strange.
That could have quite easily been cut out. Because that was just the first...
they could have
2 minutes of the movie.
They could have toned it down, but I kind of feel like everything that was in there for a very specific reason, and there's actually quite a lot to unpack.
I guess it sets the tone early on.
It sets the tone, and it kind of sets the extremity of the environment the main character's in.
Yeah.
But I guess we should...
But then that doesn't really have any bearing on what happens in the rest of the film.
Well, I would argue...
Other than his ambivalence to what he's done.
Yeah, I think part of his ambivalence towards...
human life.
Murder...
Yeah.
Is because he sees murder on a daily basis.
Yeah, the industrialised murderer.
Yeah.
Gals.
And he basically sees, like... There's a scene where he sees the dog, which they claim is injured, but it really wasn't.
No,
the dog's
just lying down.
The dog just seemed
just lying down. What should we do with this dog? I'll leave it alone.
And he was kind of like going, yeah, it's just all meat.
It's just an animal. It's fuck. They're all just meat.
So the film is about this guy called Marcus, who lives in Spain, in the outskirts of Madrid.
In an absolute shithole.
Yeah, in a
shack.
Like on kind of like derelict land.
Yeah.
And he works in a slaughterhouse on the killing floor.
Yeah.
And then he's out with his girlfriend one night. He proposes marriage.
Yeah. They're getting all hot and sexy in the backseat of the cab.
The cab driver takes offence to this, pulls over, an argument ensues, and the cab driver gets killed by Marcus with a rock.
Conk on the head with a rock.
Yeah. Which
doesn't seem to me like it would kill him.
I mean, if it was hard enough and you were unconscious and you bled out, I reckon this might
Marcus
happen.
even says, people don't die that easy, only in the movies.
Yeah, but little did he know that he was in a movie.
Yeah, a movie that we kept predicting. In the weirdest possible ways.
We'll get to that, I guess. So
she has a bit of a paddy at him.
And then she wants to go to the police.
Yeah.
And he's like, going, absolutely no way.
That will ruin the wedding.
Which is
true.
It's an astute observation.
Yeah. So he strangles her to death.
So he strangles her. Then his brother, Steve, come home early from a trip.
Yeah, a day early.
He sees the dead body, says, hey, you got to go to the police. And he goes, no way.
No way,
then
man.
He kills his brother.
Kills Steve with the... Is he with the wrench?
Yes, wrench to the head.
Wrench to the head.
Then Steve's girlfriend and fiancé comes over because they're getting married soon, saying, hey, where is he? Hey. And then she sees the bodies.
She sees the bodies.
And then he slices her throat.
Slices her throat with a little knife.
And then...
Which is really well done.
Yeah, it was well done.
That was really well done, that one.
And then her dad comes over and says, Where's my daughter? And then...
He sees all the dead bodies.
He sees all the dead bodies. I don't know whether you're noticing a pattern here.
So he sees the dead bodies, and Marcus kills him with the cleaver to the face.
Yeah. Cleaver to the face.
Cleaver to the face, which again, looked pretty good.
Then...
The guy who lives in a... all this time there's a guy in a high-rise.
No, I think we should get to that afterwards. I think that's... Because I think that's an overarching thing. I think we should just get through, like, the murders, and then it's neater.
Okay. Then the girl who works at the local
bar
/ foodery.
Well,
eatery,
yeah,
shall we say?
The eatery.
She offers to cook him some food.
No, she comes over with the express.
Comes over with breakfast.
She comes over with the. She lies to her husband and says she's going to go to
confession.
Go to confession, but she doesn't. She goes to worship.
Get some D.
Get some strange.
Yeah,
I think that's what they say now.
Yeah.
Do they still say that? I don't know. I'm not with the kids or rap
in
music.
any way. So she comes over to get some strange. She keeps complaining about the smell.
Yeah. Because he's just got the dead bodies in his house.
Yeah, he doesn't.
He's tried to get rid of it by dropping it in some sort of blood masher
at
work.
But he's doing it carrier bag full by carrier bag full, which would take forever.
Yeah, given that he's got 4 bodies to get rid of.
Is it 4 by?
Yeah, because the cops have already found
the taxi driver.
So it's 4.
Girlfriend, 4.
So when she starts complaining, he suggests that they start having a more regular affair, and then he bashes her skull in.
Yeah, she's already twigged that there's something going on here because of the smell in the house.
And also she notices a lot of bloody instruments around.
Yes, he has not hidden them at all. Not like he cleverly hid the bodies.
So these are all in the one place. In a room no one's allowed to go into, but people keep going into. And then, all in the meantime, there is a guy.
Yes.
In the neighbourhood who
he lives in one of the high rises.
He lives in one of the high rises and kind of strikes up a friendship. Shall we say?
Just for a little bit of background. Yes. So the area is essentially deserted around his dilapidated shack because they've started building these high rises in the area, which has caused everybody else to move away.
Yes.
But then when you go to the white shots, there was nothing there anyway. There's literally just this shack in the middle of fucking nothing. So where did they move away from?
I don't know that the. I guess the socio-economic circumstances surrounding this movie is a separate section we're going to have to go into.
Probably,
but I'm presuming that basically he was waiting for the government to come in, buy the land, and then finally demolish everything so they could build more high-rises.
Yeah.
I'm not totally sure in Madrid where this was. I assume it was in the outskirts. But
who does?
There's a guy in one of the high-rises, a kind of wealthy intellectual, shall we say.
Well, I think we'll get what we think he is.
Well, he's basically a young wealthy intellectual who lives with his parents in one of the high rises, thus creating the kind of dichotomy between the poor people on the ground and the rich people in the sky.
Yeah, I may have missed something. I didn't realise he lived with his parents.
Yeah, his parents were away. It was right at the beginning of the movie. He said, he didn't want to go.
Okay.
So he's basically home alone. It's Radio Steve. No one can see it.
For the listener, I pulled the Macaulay Culkin face right there.
You pulled a Culkin.
Pulled that Culkin.
Anyway, all the time. And so basically, he makes a friendship, and he's kind of embedding himself into Marcus's life,
which comes across as he's also trying to get on the sweet D.
Yeah. There's a heavy implication that Nestor, this guy, he's a homosexual and a communist. His
dog's called Trotsky.
His dog's called Trotsky, and from what I know about 70s Spain, being a communist is the kind of thing that you would land you in jail.
Yes. So
I really feel like this whole character is supposed to be some sort of just complete package of dissidents. He's a wealthy homosexual, intellectual communist.
Yes.
He says words all the time that Marcus doesn't understand.
Yeah.
Like pariah and demagogue. The strange thing is that it's difficult to tell whether Marcus has some kind of latent bisexuality or whether he's just actually kind of really lonesome because
I've got a friend.
Yeah, whether he's kind of latching on. He's really...
There's the whole scene at the night swimming pool.
Yeah.
That's very...
homoerotic.
Yes. At best, homoerotic. But yeah, it could be the kind of maybe I am into this. Or it could just I've got a friend.
Yeah. It's difficult to tell. I kind of like that they didn't
They didn't explain and they didn't imply it too far either way.
Because even in like the one thing, it's like it's clear from the audience that Nestor is a certain way, but it does, like, especially in the 70s, it seems to be a thing that Marcus seems is a kind of inconsequential.
Yeah.
Which kind of goes against the politics of the time.
Very much so, yes. So, where did we get to?
We just explained the whole movie. Oh, and so basically, it turns out at the very... okay, spoilers.
Yeah, so Nestor invites Marcus over to his very
swish pad.
Swish pad, very swish. And invites Marcus to use his binoculars because he has a lovely view.
Yeah.
Marcus then twigs that Nestor can see into his dilapidated shack.
Yeah.
And it's kind of there's a kind of cat and mouse game of, well, what do you know?
Yeah. And then it turns out that Nestor knows everything, but doesn't, and has been dropping subtle hints.
Yes.
Throughout their friendship of what to do with the situation.
Yeah. And because he's been such a good friend to him, instead of killing him, Marcus, he smashes a glass, he threatens to kill him, thinks better of it, and turns himself into the pigs.
Yeah, and then the film ends, and you're kind of going, pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. Not bad.
Like, I mean, I think there's like...
Every character in it is stupid as fuck.
Yes. And it's like I was making Curb Your Enthusiasm jokes throughout the whole thing. There's definitely like an element, like there's that bit where every time he comes back to his house, there's more dogs.
There's just more dogs. Yeah, every time. The smell's getting worse, so this is signified by more dogs outside the house, sniffing to try and get in the front door. It's hilarious. And it starts off as a kind of comedy of errors / crimes of passion to start with. Like the first three, it's just like, he didn't mean to kill the taxi driver.
I feel like there's a definite...
that's kind of an error.
I feel like there's a definite...
He kills the girlfriend, which is a kind of crime of passion, because he's like, no, but I want to be with you so much and I don't want to go to prison. Then kills the brother because, like, but you're my brother and I don't want you to turn me into the pigs either.
I think that's the turning point where you can start seeing that he starts losing his mind a bit.
Yeah, and he starts thinking about the murders a little bit more as well. The dad especially, because he's keeping him out of the room, and he goes like, no, we'll go in the room then. Knowing what's going to happen. She's like, well, you're going to go in that room, you're going to see your dead daughter, I'm going to kill you. So that's where it starts becoming a little bit more premeditated.
So for you young people, Spain lived with fascism for a very long time under the reign of General Franco. Not to be confused with Jess Franco. Jess Franco was a nice guy, by all accounts. General Franco was a fascist murderer.
Jess Franco's not the one I called a pervert hack, is he?
Yes, he's a pervert hack.
Oh, yes.
I'd rather be a pervert hack than a fascist. It seemed to work out for both of them.
For a while.
So it's kind of interesting. Like, I don't know...
Through that lens, you can see how this would probably be seen as a more reactionary film than it was.
But
when one of your main characters has all those facets of the thing that your dictatorship absolutely hates and kills / prisons people for.
And not only that, it's kind of... We had this theory during... Like, the way the scenes were set out, all the kind of horror...
very quick.
Was done in a fixed location. And anywhere kind of in a found location, like a bar or a swimming pool, was basically just people talking. People acting really normal. I can, totally imagine that you were making some kind of this subversive... Maybe... I mean, I don't know...
I still don't think it's a horror.
This is not whether it's a horror or not. It's about whether this film is a subversive statement.
Right. By
saying, hey, what's the harm with having a communist for a friend? This is... So, is that a subversive act? And I guess it is.
Well, yeah, because it's the communist that kind of turns him eventually and says, hey, stop this, and he listens to the communist.
So, but all the stuff around it was done just like any other film. Like, it was kind of inconsequential.
Yeah, and it wouldn't surprise me if you found that actually all the violence scenes were done in, like, a day. It was just like, right.
Yeah.
Like, right, nobody's looking. Do it. Hatchet to the face. Next slice. Right, we've got all those scenes. Go back to the talking bits.
Yeah. Like... I would be very interested in seeing some sort of documentary and or reading about the history of this movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I feel like there's probably a whole bunch of stuff that I missed.
And if you have any, link us in the comments below.
Yeah.
Smash that like button. Smash it, you cunt. But yeah, no, I enjoyed the movie. I think the performances, even though, as we said, there's always a problem with dubbing because you're not getting the actors true performance.
But I think that as a dub goes, I thought it was okay.
Yeah, and
it was
and to look in the faces of the actors, they were all going for it. I think Marcus especially, you could read what was going on, even if you had no subtitles or dubbing. I think you could read what was going on in his mind on his face.
I think it was pretty good.
Which is really good.
Now this is a very good point. Now you've mentioned his face, because we also need to discuss how
he does look like fat Andy Serkis doing an impression of Wolverine.
Yes,
for the entire movie.
And Nestor looks like a cross between Klaus Nomi and Howard Devoto. And it's kind of strange.
It's cool, though. I liked it. I liked it. It was like seeing a familiar face.
But in general, thank you, British censors, because if it wasn't for your
draconian ways back in the 80s,
I would probably never have seen this movie, because I would probably just assumed it was another cannibal movie.
Absolutely.
And
we didn't really get to that. It is the most misleading title in the fucking world. It's called Cannibal Man.
There's no cannibalism in the whole movie.
Of cannibalism.
Right, you want to score this out?
Yeah.
What would you give it for the story?
I enjoyed it. It was a good story.
I thought it was a pretty good story.
And like I say, it goes from kind of oops, accidental killing to but you can't. The progression of it was really, really good. It wasn't just kind of I killed one person. Right, now to kill everybody.
Yeah, it was like it was a complete story.
Yes, very much so. And it was a complete character arc.
Now
for Marcus especially.
But I think I might have to mark it down slightly for the ending, because I kind of felt it was a little bit of an anticlimax. I reckon there would have been a way.
I guess, but it's redemption, isn't it?
Was it?
Yeah. Turns himself into the police.
Yeah, but I kind of wanted to...
He finally admits to himself that he done wrong. And I just
wanted 5 minutes more.
He needs to pay for his crimes.
I wanted 5 minutes more.
Of what?
Of
him getting banged up in the slammer?
Yeah.
By Nestor?
Like just something like... What is the slammer in this instance?
His rectum.
Oh.
His anus.
Yeah, I basically wanted to turn into a gay porno. Like every film. Movies. everyone, like, I went to see Doctor Sleep, and
I still haven't seen
there was only one other guy in the cinema, and I was thinking, this turns into a gay porno. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
It did not.
No.
So... What's his name? Mike Flanagan?
I'm not watching that then.
Mike Flanagan? It's Mike Flanagan, yes? It's like the director's name.
Oh, right. I thought you mean Ewan McGregor. Mike Flanagan, that guy. Obi-Wan Kenobi. What the fuck his name is.
Why would I think that Ewan McGregor was called...
Because I don't know what the director's called.
Oh, okay. Where am I going? All right, I'm going to give it a 4. I liked it. I thought it was good.
I was also going to say 4.
All right.
I was going to mark it down a little bit because... some of the story points are just fucking dumb.
Alright, so you're gonna...
But that's the only reason I'm marking it down. I actually quite liked the ending.
Yeah, alright.
I thought it ended just at the right time. It's just like, yeah, nice. Because I actually thought he was going to go home and kill himself. And actually him redeeming himself by turning himself in and doing the right thing at the end. I thought it was a really nice ending.
Okay. What would you give it for gore, Steve?
Well, now, I'm going to go 3 because... as we've discussed in other films, there wasn't much of it, but what there was of it was pretty good.
Also, I think it rates quite highly because there's all the slaughterhouse footage is pretty rough.
Fucking horrible. Jesus.
But I think
that's fucking. Jesus.
It was a gory movie.
Yeah. Well,
you're gonna get your fix.
It wasn't a gory movie.
It was.
There's some good gore in it.
There's a cow cut in half.
No, yeah, but it's already dead.
What? I would say that's gore.
There's some meat getting cut off.
I would say that's gore.
Okay.
They didn't have to show it. It doesn't add anything to it.
Well, yeah, no, but I would separate the kind of real stuff from the fake stuff. Fake stuff to me is what gore is.
Well, I just think
real stuff is... I mean, I see it all day, every day.
Okay, but for me, humans, so I don't rate...
I.e., I work in surgery, by the way, I'm not a killer.
My lips are sealed.
But yeah, I mean, the next Slash was really, really good.
All I'm saying is that I factor in all the gore in the movie.
Okay. I'm going 3.
I was going to go 3 also. So it's a 3 from me and a 3 from you.
Yes.
Okay, so for the overall creativity, I think I'm going to rate this quite highly.
Yeah, me too.
Because I feel like I don't know enough about the socio-economic situation of the time. I know some,
Yeah.
but I don't know enough. I feel like I have a feeling that there's more going on.
I have a feeling this is more reactionary than we're giving it credit for.
But because I'm lacking the information, I'm probably going to give it a 4. It gets marked down on the basis of the repetition in the...
Come to my house, don't go in that room.
Yes.
And now you're dead.
But it also gets there because
But then it's different kills every time.
Yeah, but it's the same situation. The same situation keeps happening,
Yeah.
which isn't very creative, but it scores quite highly on the basis that I liked the way it looked. I felt it was really quite stylish, like in the way it was shot and the way it was edited. Like I think it like.
I mean, for 71, 72, it looks really good.
I mean, yeah,
For that kind of low budget.
Yeah, I don't know how to say. So I'm going to give it a 4.
See, I'm torn between a 3 and a 4. I don't want to rate it too highly because whilst it does look good, it doesn't look great. It does look good. It's completely, perfectly watchable and it's easy on the eye. I'm going to stick with a 3.
All right,
I think.
so the 3 from Steve.
If it was a bit glossier, I would probably go to a 4.
No,
Because it's still kind of rough, but...
for logical sense.
See, now I think it does make a lot of sense. Again, that progression of accidental first killing, crime of passion second killing, necessary third killing into I'm kind of getting a taste for it now.
Yeah.
I'm premeditating it a little bit more. It keeps ramping up.
Yeah, I think it makes perfect sense. And
The only bit that doesn't really make sense is it going from Nestor kind of trying to be his friend to the whole night swimming bit. I thought that was a bit of a jump.
That wasn't the bit that was the jump for me.
Okay.
The jump for me was after the brother's girlfriend's dad gets killed.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like the cops would have shown up at that point.
Yeah, I mean, 4 people missing.
It's not so much 4 people missing, but he was obviously like a man. Like there's a throwaway line of like him saying, "Oh, everyone's just gonna look down upon us," and like so people know.
Yeah.
So obviously
people know the family.
People know the family, and like they go, "Hey, he's missing."
But then there's also no timeline on this, so the events after that could be the very next day. And
Yeah, but I kind of feel like. I mean, there's no explanation given for like if there's a mother in the picture for that character, and I kind of feel like if this guy goes missing, someone would contact the police and then go, okay, well, let's look at the possibilities. Like, okay, so we know that his daughter has a fiance here, so that would be the first, like one of the first places they would go and inquire and go, hey, have you seen this guy?
Yeah.
Then they would have gone, you're acting very suspicious and you're also real greasy. That's not a comment on Spanish people. There's actually a scene where the cops show up and he gets real greasy.
Yeah,
he starts sweating.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that about Spanish people, except
he gets ill and
dictator.
really greasy at some point as well.
Sorry?
He gets ill and greasy at one point as well.
he gets ill because he's like, much like me after watching all these movies, strongly considering becoming a vegetarian.
Actually, thinking about it, that might be the one bit of technically cannibalism in the film, because he's feeding his victims into the machine at work.
Yeah.
And then he goes to Rosa's bar, and she gives him a new type of soup that we've just started making with ingredients from your factory.
Yeah.
And he has had at least one mouthful at that point. So technically, Cannibal Man.
Yeah, technically, the best
kind of Christ.
Okay, so since I probably give it a 4. I think that's pretty high.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, and now the music.
The music was great.
The music was sometimes great.
Yeah,
I feel like there were bits that were really
the rad 70s festival fucking like
the kind of hippie
ragga rock jazz.
Yeah, there's a lot of hippie stuff.
Yeah,
and there was some
Woodstock
kind of
music,
more experimental stuff. I felt sometimes it kind of worked. But it didn't totally land for me.
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, within the film, maybe not appropriate at some points, but I did enjoy it anyway because it's
I wouldn't say necessarily
good.
appropriate. I just like I guess I attack it from a completely different point of view of like going. Is this what I would do? And I would say, on the whole, no. But I understand that's my taste, but I also feel like this is the kind of film that I wish had lent more to the kind of experimental orchestral score that it had in places, rather than going into like 70s hippie stuff, because I guess I didn't really get a sense of the world other than like let's be groovy.
Yeah.
I can't remember that. Is that?
Whereas I quite liked that.
Oh, okay.
I liked it being groovy.
So maybe I give it a 2.
Yeah, I'm going to go 3.
All right.
Because I like that groovy Woodstock kind of, hey everybody, let's just all take our clothes off and let all our hairs hang out type vibe. Which, again, maybe not appropriate for the film, but I liked the music.
All right.
So I'm judging it on that. I think that's going to be
For a
quite
final
high,
score of a
God damn.
34 out of 50.
God damn.
Which is very respectable.
That is. That's pretty high.
So finally, Steve, would you recommend this movie?
You know, I think I would. I'm trying to think who I would recommend it to. It's not for kind of modern day kind of cinema audience.
Yeah, I'd agree.
But for people who like kind of obscure horror films, it's probably one you haven't seen. For people who watch this kind of thing, given that it is, I think, still banned outright. Is that right?
No, I think
It says,
no.
it says on the list. It's banned
Well,
outright.
who knows on these things?
But maybe it's a bit more obscure. It's not a well-known director. It's not a well-known title. I don't
Well, you might
think.
be well-known director in Spain. We don't know.
Possibly, but I'm not there. But yeah, I would recommend it. It's a good hour and a half kind of tale. It's quite well paced.
Yeah, it was very well paced.
There wasn't any of those lulls that we tend to get with a lot of these films that we're reviewing.
Yeah, I think the first time I asked, oh my god, how much? I said, hey, much longer to go, and there was actually 10
About
minutes
10
to go.
minutes
So
left,
it was like I was pretty engaged.
Usually
for the
there's
rest
about
of
an hour and a half at that point. So yeah, I would recommend it.
I would also recommend it. I think if anyone has a passing interest in European cinema, then it's well worth a watch.
Yeah,
So that's it. Cannibal Man.
we enjoyed the film.
Thumbs up. We enjoyed a film we hadn't seen before.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen a lot.
No. Okay then.
Bye or adios,
Hasta luego.
puta.